I have been very fortunate over the last few years to dip my toe in a number of different adventures, from gravel biking to canoeing to winter camping. But hiking's always been near and dear to my heart, and this September of 2022, with the easing of travel restrictions, I was very fortunate to hop on a plane and tackle one of my bucket list hikes.
Morning, and welcome to the Tour de Mont Blanc. I am thrilled to be sitting here, currently in France, about 3 hours into day one, starting this epic hike. The Tour de Mont Blanc is one of Europe's most famous hiking trails. The TMB goes around the circumference of the Mont Blanc mountain range. It's about 170 kilometers, the better part of 10,000 meters in elevation gain, which is, I'm told, the equivalent of hiking Everest. So I'm doing the hike in what would be the, I guess, more traditional way, which is counterclockwise, and on or about 10 days. You can definitely do it faster. You can also take it a little more leisurely. Getting to the start of this hike was actually relatively problem-free. I flew out of Toronto to Montreal to Geneva, got picked up by a shuttle service that took me into Chamonix. I spent the night in Chamonix, and this morning took the bus from Chamonix to Les Houches, which is kind of the traditional starting point. Although it is technically a loop trail, so you can pretty much start anywhere. So now I will confess I am going to butcher the names of these towns as I try to describe this trip. So bear with me. I will also say I'm probably not going to be giving much of a running narrative of the history of the surroundings. Because to be honest, while I've prepped my gear and I know generally what my itinerary is and where I'm staying each night, I am doing a mixture of camping, refugios, as well as a couple hotels. I have purposely tried not to over plan or research the individual days outside of kind of the main guide points. This is a very well marked trail, and I wanted this one to be, I don't know, a little more spontaneous. So what I'm seeing and learning for the first time, you'll be coming along for the ride. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm coming to the end of day one here. I got about 3 or 4 kilometers left, I think. And the started in Les Houches, and the end point for today is a camping spot, Camping Le Ponton, about 15-minute walk past Les Contamines. I guarantee I'm not pronouncing that correctly in the slightest. It was a tough day. The first 2 hours out of Les Houches was all up, and that took a toll. Outside of that, it was a beautiful walk up until Col de Vos. Saw the tram car arrive. Part of me was wondering where the heck you catch that and why didn't I take that up. So after Col de Vos, there was an option to take a variant. On the Tour de Mont Blanc, there are these variants that deviate from the main course, and essentially they're more often than not more difficult, higher elevations, but you get the benefit of incredible views. I chose not to avail myself of the variant today. Both, I'm feeling day one. I don't want to put excess strain on my body at this point. I've got some big days coming up. So just wrapping up day one at a camping spot called Camping Le Pontet. So this camping area, there's a little restaurant that serves kind of a set dinner at a set time. So rather than cooking my ramen, I'm going to partake. Had a beer, was able to put my feet up a little bit and just relax and massage the legs. Good first day. Tired but happy. So the first night's day at Camping Le Ponton, very hiker friendly. Essentially just a field within a RV camping lot where all the hikers congregate. Bit of a communal dinner and good facilities, so well supported, highly recommended. And now the big climb. 4 hours up and over Col de Bonhomme. That's where I came from. Big climb. And I'm a little tired. That's where I'm heading. Oh, I got nothing left in the tank, but we'll slink our way there. bottom. It's just down there. Good place to stop for lunch. So just finishing up day 2. It was just a really hard day. It was only about 19, 20 kilometers, but it was all uphill for the first half and all downhill for the second. But it was gorgeous. It was really nice to get above tree line. Sun definitely beat down on you a little bit. Need to continue to make sure I keep hydrated, but the views were awe-inspiring. It's interesting. It seemed like every time you turned a little corner, the views just kept getting better and better. Tonight, I'm staying at a free campground in the Chapeau. Not a lot of service, including no cell service. So, no power, no cell service. But there is a restaurant here attached to the Auberge de Nova, which apparently is pretty good. Morning, and welcome to the start of day 3. Early start today. Got out of camp by about 6:30. I've got a big day ahead of me. Better part of 32 kilometers. I'm combining 2 stages into one. And when I booked it, they said there was a shuttle that could eliminate 2 hours of road walking on the front end. Fortunately, the shuttle stopped on August 29th, so it's going to be a long day. But it is pretty. Heading right up there. Coming into Cold Seine. First place for France. Crosses over into Italy. And behind those clouds is Mont Blanc. We'll get some more views of that shortly. Refugio Elizabetta.
think the weather's rolling in. So a little recap on day 3, which combines stages 3 and 4. I was planning on a fairly grueling day, a lot of kilometers that I referenced earlier. A couple of really nice views, especially coming over Col de Seine, where you had that first look at the Mont Blanc again, which we hadn't seen since early on that first day. So those 2 first hours coming up of Les Chapeaux up till the Refugio de la Motets was fine. Some nice cows in the field. A lot of road walking though, and it didn't anything that took your breath away. And it definitely added on to the day. I think the combining legs 3 and 4 would be a lot more doable if you didn't do that and you took the shuttle or the bus from Chapeaux to Refugio de la Motets. Similarly, on the leg from the Refugio de Elisabetta to Courmayer, there is an opportunity to take the chairlift down into Courmayer and avoid that big downhill. Unfortunately, that's also closed for the season. So all told, it was going to be a 30+ kilometer day. Ended up coming out of Refugio de Elisabetta and some weather warnings coming into effect. I decided not to take the high route. Instead, I took the bad weather route down through the Valvenie, the valley following the river, and got to Vissel, where I was able to then hop on a bus and take on to Courmayer and cut off about 4 or 5 kilometers on the back end of road walking. So ended up getting into the hotel around 3 or 4 o'clock, so was not as bad as I was anticipating. In Courmayer, I'm staying at a nice little hotel just off the central area called the Hotel Villa Novecento Romantic Hotel. Quaint little place, easy access to everything, nice restaurant downstairs. I think they had a Michelin star a few years back. So had a really nice kind of traditional Italian dinner last night, which was great. So day 4 is my 0 day. I figure it's been a long time since I've been to Europe, so I want to take a day just to experience a European town, a European village, and absorb some of that culture, I guess, versus having it all about the hike. Now that being said, even looking out my window, there is Mont Blanc staring at you, which is gorgeous views. Had a chance to have a good breakfast and hit the town a little bit, sit at a cafe, have an espresso, look up at the mountains. Courmayer is a nice little ski town, lots of little shops. I would say not packed, but there's people here. Lots of hikers definitely are using kind of the same methodology as me and taking a bit of a down day and exploring the town. A few familiar faces as you kind of walk the streets. And tonight, going out and having some pizza. You've got to have pizza when you're in Italy, so I'll have a very traditional sense.
Showed up at first clue though.